there's a herb you need to get to know, because not only is it good for our kitty cat, it can also be beneficial for our children, females and males alike. Stick around because you're going to get to know about this herb today. We see catmint, catnip in the marketplace every single day, and it is so beneficial to our feline friends, and it's promoted highly for our cats. It gives them an aphrodisiac effect and really just milds and tends them out. They go crazy over it. They love it. They'll rub on it and they'll eat on it and chew on it. And next thing you know, the cat is laid down and resting and sleeping really well. It can be beneficial to our small children as well as females and males. I'm going to share with you today about different things that you can do, and if you stick around, I'll give you a bonus. The first thing I want to cover is in our children, our little babies, you will have a child that may end up having colic or the hives. And I personally benefited from this growing up when I was really young, when I got pregnant with my son, and he got the baby hives. My grandmother had already been using remedies. That is really truly how I became let's say an accidental herbalist. When I was young, I grew up using herbs, grew up on a farm. We were very self-sufficient, self-reliant, and everything was taken care of on the farm. This was carried down from my great-grandmother to my grandmother and to my mother. At that time, we didn't question why. We just done it. We were, take this, do this, and they gave it to us and administered it to us, and it worked. At that time, we may have not known the name of the plant, and certainly, didn't question why. We did what we were told to do. We were not defiant. We didn't question it. Grandma said to do it, Mama said to do it, and you respected your elders, and you still do. So we did what we were told to do. When I had given birth to my son, he was just a matter of weeks old, and he had broken out with these hives all over his body. Was told to bundle him up and take him to grandma's. That's what my mom told me, the new grandma. And so, of course, I did that because I'm a young mother. I'm scared. I'm concerned. This is my little baby. I don't want anything to happen to him. And I'm just so in love with that precious creature. I go up there, and here is my grandma walking around in her knee-high pantyhose and her little slide-ons, and she's a true grandma, and she's got her apron on, and she's got a towel and a bag in her hand, and a knife, or maybe, she had a knife. I was thinking maybe scissors, but nonetheless, and I'm following my grandma around, and she is going about, and she's kind of tickling, and brushing across the plants, and she kept going to the edges of the building and around their store building. They sold things in a little general store. Going about the building, going about the house, and just looking in these certain places. She was muttering, that it was, I need the catnip, I need catmint, and went on and on and on. And then finally she arrived at these little plants. She couldn't find any catmint, right? So, but she's still working and looking and so forth. Well, she finally gathered some young leaves, and she found it because this was a summertime. A lot of things, the heat had gotten to them, so she was looking in the cooler areas about the building. And mint will spread. Catnip is a catmint. They are the same thing. They have a square stem. They have those serrated leaves, just like a peppermint or a spearmint. But catmint has a distinct smell, almost smells, kind of reminds me of a cross between mothballs and mint. And I don't know how to describe it to you, but it has more of that pungent smell to it versus this fresh mint that you, when you rub your spearmint or your peppermint, it's a different kind of smell. But it is distinct, recognizable, so you will know it, and it's still just this wonderful, powerful medicine. Well, she picks these leaves, and she tells me, you heat up your water, and when it goes to boil, shut off the heat, let the heat rise off of it, and then pour that hot water over top of these leaves. And you let it sit there, and you let it steep 5-10 minutes or whatever. Then you're going to strain it out. And I want you to strain it through cloth because you're going to be giving it to the baby. I said, oh, yes, ma'am. So cheesecloth or a handkerchief works really good. Bandana, anything like that, and strain that liquid. And she said, now, you're not going to put hardly no sugar in there. When you get this big amount, you can put a little bit if he don't seem to want to take it. She said, but you shouldn't have no problem with it because he won't really taste nothing, and babies ain't used to sugar. Give it to him, let it cool off, get it cool, not cold, and not even knowing this was actually going to help with the colic as well, which he ended up getting later. At that time, he didn't have colic, and if you give baby stuff cold, it can give them colic, just a FYI. But at that time, he had those hives. And of course, he's itching, he's uncomfortable, so he's whiny, he's fussy, he's crying. And she said it'll help him sleep too. I said, all right, Grandma. So, I'm scared. I want to make sure I do it right. And, you can only imagine, because I was such a young girl. I was just so vulnerable and so young and just naive. Well, I take this little bit of liquid, and she said, you want to give him a little bit, about a tablespoon, half an ounce to an ounce. I mean, just a small amount of that tea. Well, he took to it. It wasn't a problem. I did breastfeed him, but at that time I had to administer that to him in a bottle, and he took to it. It wasn't any problem, and give him that little bit, and I mean, that baby went to sleep. I mean, out. Well, I asked her, how often do I administer this to him, and how often do I give it? She said, you just want to give it to him a couple times a day, maybe in the morning and late in the evening. Don't give too much, just do a little bit, because it's going to work. It's good medicine. And she said, you're going to keep him bundled up. You don't want to be taking him outside or exposing him anything, because he's uncomfortable, and we don't want him to get hot or sweaty. That'll make the hives itch more. Said he might run a fever and sweat and, break that fever, but that's good as long as it's low fever. And she just knew stuff. She was just, precious to me. Now, she's no longer with us, and I'm not going to get emotional. So let me move forward. So I kept baby bundled up, giving it to him twice a day. And, in a short period of time, these little bumps that was on him, these little hives, they just disappeared. And she said, when they're gone, you don't have to give it to him no more. Now, I'm a lot older now, and I'm trying to remember exactly how long, but within a few days that was gone. But she still wanted me to give it to him, 5 to 7 days. And just a little while, just to make sure we got him covered and everything's gone and he's okay. And boy, would he sleep. He would sleep really, really good. And it was super effective. It just, God's medicine, it just took care of those hives. So I wanted to share that story with you, because I don't want to tell you something and I don't have testimony. And these are things that I have personally used myself. Now, as the years went on, I believe that was part of the inspiration that made me the more curious mind. And I truly wanted to know why that particular plant and what does it do? What is it? What does it do? Now, at that time, I just knew Grandma was calling it Catmint. And I just did it because I was told to do it. It was the thing to do. And did not know that God was going to have this awaiting for me in my future. He was preparing me the whole time. So there are no coincidences in life. There's a reason for everything. I was just a little more inquisitive. Why that plant? And, what does it do? What could happen? All these things. And I knew she wouldn't do anything to hurt my child. It was her great-grandchild. My grandma had 8 children of her own, so she knew a thing or two about some babies and what to do with them. So it was a wonderful thing. It was just a wonderful medicine. I am so grateful for that knowledge and to have spent that time with her, have that memory. As I got older, I did dabble more. Well, many years go by. I've been at this for 21 years. As I said, my research has been extensive, and as long as you are a practicing apothecary or a practicing herbalist, your knowledge and wisdom and search and seeking will never cease. It will never stop. You will always be educating yourself and growing in wisdom. You will always be searching and looking for more information. And as they do studies, it's just in your nature. It's ingrained in you, and it just becomes a part of who you are, your chemical makeup. And you'll just really, truly be searching and seeking for even more knowledge. But let me share another incident with you, another testimony on these hives. With that being said, I also researched and found out that I had a customer to come in. and she had broken out with hives. This is a very adult woman, mid-40s, and she had these eruptions of hives all the time. Hers was associated with her nerves. She just would get upset and she would just break out in hives. Or she'd get frightened about something and she'd break out in hives. And I truly believe that she was having an allergic reaction to bad news. So I just labeled it up as, because it seemed like any kind of stressful situation, things that were upsetting to her, she would break out in a hive. And it wouldn't necessarily be anything she was eating or being in contact with. It was just pretty common for her. She needed something to deal with them, because when they would break out, they are very itchy, they're very uncomfortable, and they just populate your body willingly all over. Said, well, I'll tell you what my grandma used to give to the babies for hives was Catmint. And I knew a lot more information about Catmint at that time. So, of course, I issued her Catmint. Sent her out with that with a couple of ounces and told her about brewing it. Now, her amount that she would be taking, she can drink it as a tea, and she can have it at least a couple times a day. I did forewarn her, though, if she settled down, that it would help her ease into going to sleep if she was having any kind of insomnia issues or issues with not being able to rest comfortably. What you will find about Catmint, and I'm stating this out loud, I want you to frame your mind a minute. Catmint is God's Benadryl, okay? God's natural Benadryl. It works just like Benadryl. So for those of you who have allergies and have issues that come up and you take Benadryl, this is a way that's safer, more natural. Whenever you see a situation to where they have allergies and things that are upsetting their system, hives is an allergic reaction. It is what the body is kind of its defense mechanism, and it will pop out with hives. And this is one of those that I'm teaching you about, listening to your body, and is telling you, hey, I don't agree with that. It's not agreeing with me. So you may like it, but it doesn't like you. Does that make sense? Your body, for whatever reason, is rejecting it. And it's one of those telltale signs of the first alert, first response system of your body and its defense system saying, hey, that's not going to work. We can't do that. That signal, that symptom that's popping up saying, I'm going to break out with hives because you ate that, or you did this, or you rubbed against that plant, or you did it, and I'm jealous, and I don't like that. Don't do that. It is just one of the first signals. So Catmint is really, really good as a Benadryl. So it's going to give you those same effects. One, it's going to do away with the allergic reaction, which is hives responding to whatever you came in contact with, or as that antihistamine trying to like alert you. The allergies and replay of sneezing and just all kinds of mucus and coughing and uncomfortableness, Catmint can work really, really well for that. So just think of Catmint, catnip, as the world's Benadryl, and it truly does work like Benadryl. Now, your dosage amount as an adult is going to be more. Think of it like this. Say, brew a cup and you can drink it as a tea. If you are taking it and administering it to yourself, you can do it multiple times a day, but half a tablespoon at a time as your dosage amount if you're taking it multiple times a day. If you sit down and be still, you will want to go to sleep. It's going to help you to give in to that for those of you who deal with insomnia or struggle with trying to relax. It is a stimulant, but it works really well as a nerve tonic. It's very soothing to the system, just as mints are. Mints are very soothing to our system, and they help us to relax. They help those muscles and spasms. It will help with spasms. So if you're someone who has muscle spasms and difficulty, restlessness, you could use the Catmint and put it in your smoothie, drink it as a tea, and use that in your dietary drinks as your antispasmodic. It works really, really good, as we're going back to allergies again, for the bronchial system, for our upper respiratory system and bronchitis. So if you needed to put a mint in your mixture of syrups, or you're trying to soothe coughing and calm the system down, You could add that to your tea blend or drink it as a tea, and it would help with the bronchial and the mucous membranes. It just kind of calms everything down. It's very soothing. Coughing too much. We do want, so, a lot of people want to like stop the coughing altogether. When you are sick with some kind of allergy or a cold, we want to move that out. Coughing is effective as an expectorant, using an expectorant to help dispel that mucus and keep it moving. We'll use something in our blends so that we can cut that mucus and get it to move out, either by coughing or going out naturally. That's where the expectorants come into play. But Catmint can also work in that position as well. I know that sounds almost contradicting, but it is a stimulant and it is antispasmodic. As it being a mint, it's cleansing and moving things down, but also calming them down, bringing inflammation down in the bronchial membranes and the whole upper respiratory system. But it's also good for diarrhea. So for those of you who maybe your bowels get really fast on you, you could use it to calm that down as well. It can let that system calm down and stop spasming so much and causing you to have diarrhea. There is a bonus, and I left this for the last. So I told you before, if you stuck around, I'd have you a bonus. So there are many more things that Catmint can do. I will definitely make sure the botanical name is here with the word, because I'm not very good at pronouncing. The bonus that I promised is more geared towards females, and that's why I'm saving it for the last. For those of you who may have a low or lack of menstruation, or those who may have a painful menstruation, the Catmint is really good for that. It can really help a lot. So maybe drinking a cup of Catmint tea in the period of time of when you would commonly be experiencing your menstrual or your menses have come on. Now you're menstruating. Drink the tea. If it's a time when your menstruating should begin, you can start drinking a cup of tea of the Catmint, and that will help with the lack of menstruation so that you feel like you had a complete menstruation, that things flowed the way they should, and helped with that. Because remember, it helps with the muscle spasms, and our uterus, it is spasming in its own way, and it's contracting, but also thinning of the walls, which is our menstruation itself, and that can assist and help things to come down, leveling out the playing field so that you're not having a painful menstruation. It's calming down those cramping and all that might be going with the contracting of the uterus that makes it really uncomfortable for some women. Some women really truly have a very painful menstruation, and I would recommend trying some Catmint versus taking something for pain. There are, medications out there over the counter that are issued for that very purpose. But think of how natural Catmint is. It's doing more than one thing for your system, and it is helping and assisting it to actually be clean, and which is for a female, menstruation is the way that our body removes toxins and natural cleansing for our system. So we want to have our menstruation. We just don't want it to hurt so bad and struggle with it. And gas that gets against our pelvic bone and relax that system so that it will make your menstruation less painful and help move it out. Bear in mind that you will hear of people using Catmint in other situations for other things. Now you can find it on the DandelionNorth.com under the A through C herbs as your practical apothecary here. I really appreciate it when you purchase from me as this one-man band trying to do some good things for you and educate you and share the information, because it's for you to know, and it is God's given right for you. It's your medicine, and you should be able to use it and benefit from it, learn from it by using it. So it's not just for your kitty cat. It's not for your felines particularly. If you grow it on your property, it is a mint. Mints have a running vine type root system that is just beneath the dirt. I mean, it just barely is beneath the dirt. They are kind of on top, and they will take over. They will grow like wildfire. I have not had that problem with Catmint, and I don't know if it's just where I live and locale and maybe my soil, but I can honestly tell you that I've not had an issue with that particular mint. And even if I did, if it's growing around the bases of my house and porches and things like that, I do not treat my yard with any kind of herbicides or pesticides. So I would not be in fear of picking that mint. I wouldn't be afraid that it was going to take over, especially if you have living landscaping. If you have edible landscaping, that's kind of a way to go. But if you did want to just grow some, you can find that seed really willingly. You can plant it maybe in an abandoned garden spot or somewhere maybe in the ditch lines on your property where, it's not going to get all these herbicides and pesticides and dirt and mud and are being trampled on, somewhere where you can get you a small patch and kind of have that. It is readily available at dandelionnorth.com, your practical apothecary, and Elizabeth said so. So do visit and purchase it. If you have any questions or leave comments, I would be glad to answer your questions. And you can always send me an email or call the shop direct. And you can find all that information on the website as well as underneath the description box here. If you're watching here on YouTube, how about hitting the thumbs up, give me a like, and definitely share this. Share this with a friend, share it with other people, and go, wow, did you know this? And I found out this information, this is what this lady said, and share out the video. I really, really appreciate it. And of course, you can subscribe if you enjoy videos like this. Lets me and YouTube know that you like us when you hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy these type of videos, try and share with you as much as I can and educate you, because the world has a shortage of herbalists, and I'll be glad to help anybody who'd like to join in on this adventure, wonderful journey. Chase the moon with the spirit of a dandelion, because Elizabeth said so. Till the next one. Bye for now.